Okay, so good morning. Thank you
Hi,
very much for meeting with me today.
of course.
Can you introduce yourself first?
My name is Rebecca Raymond. I am the parent of Patrick and the sister of your teacher.
So tell me a little bit about Patrick and his history in school.
Um, Patrick's history in school when he was two and a half
Hold on a
years
second. Hold on. Sorry, go ahead. So tell
old.
me a little bit about Patrick's background.
So when Patrick was two and a half, he was in nursery school. Perfectly normally functioning 2.5 year old. Met all of his milestones, walking, uh, talking, he could put sentences together and everything. When he was just about 2 years, 7 months or so, 8 months, he was diagnosed with brain cancer. And they removed three tumors, one from the base of his brain and two on the left. I'm sorry, two at the base of his brain, one on the left. My bad. Um, when he went into surgery, he was a perfectly normally functioning 2.5 year old. And when he woke up from surgery, he was basically an infant. He had to relearn everything, um, literally had to sit up was hard for him. How to walk, how to talk, basically had to, use a fork, use a cup, use a bottle. Um, and it went through, 6 to 9 months of chemotherapy, had physical and occupational and not much speech therapy, but that started when he started going to school regularly. Um, he went to preschool, and when he was in preschool, he had a great an amazing teacher or teachers. He went to Schreiber Pediatric Rehabilitation Center, so his that's where his preschool was. So they were able to work with him. They had amazing therapists, his PT, his OT, speech therapist. They were phenomenal there. He started kindergarten when he was, oh God, he was 5. Yeah, when he was 5 years old, because he turned 6 that December.
Mhm.
Um, he did stay back when he was in second grade. We did hold him back. He had
Was it
they
in third grade?
no second grade. Third grade was when he was in Florida.
Okay.
So he had stayed back in second grade. The reason being is they changed his teacher 3 times within 6 months, and he regressed significantly. Jen and I had a lot of conversations about it. We had discussions with the school, with the special ed department at his school, who basically didn't, thought sending him to third grade would be great. Jen and I both said, No, that's not happening."
Hmm.
So he did redo second grade, moved to New York. He did spend a year with Jen in Florida for third grade, and made amazing strides. Was wonderful. The Bales, yeah, UCP Bales was probably the best thing for him at that point in time. He When he came back to New York, he was in fourth and fifth grade at EJR. He had the same teacher for both years. Um, he did regress a little bit, because it was, obviously a change. But at the end of fifth grade, they recommended that Patrick go into a life skills class. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Um, which was the first time that they basically said that Patrick was not going to be able to be in a normal school, normal class. Um, and I remember being on that IEP call and reacting this way. um, I called Jen and I said, I need you to get on this call. I need you to be here. I need you to talk to them because they're not listening to me. Um, we fought for it. Patrick did go into sixth grade last year. While he is in a special ed class, so he is in a smaller class size like he has been before. Um, he blew us away. First quarter was difficult because it was a change.
Yep.
Obviously, he had been in the same classroom for, well, he'd been in the same classroom for 2 years, but it
Right.
going from fifth grade to sixth grade, being in one classroom and then going to different classrooms. We knew there was going to be a challenge, but he still did, first quarter he did okay. Second quarter was rough. He actually lost both of his grandparents within a month of each other that we were not expecting. And then he rallied to the point where last quarter of his sixth grade, he actually made honor roll.
That's awesome.
Um,
So what are, thank you for that.
No, you're welcome.
So tell me some things that have helped Patrick in school. What are some, either things the teachers have done or that, you've seen him do at home or with tutors or anything like that? What has helped Patrick to excel in school?
Having things explained to him step by step.
Okay.
Definitely helps. Like for instance, one of the things he likes to eat is a waffle sandwich. Okay, so we have to put the waffles in the air fryer. You have to make sure you hit the button, and then you have to take them out of the air fryer, but you have to make sure you use the oven mitts or or tongs or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that he knows step by step how to do things.
Okay.
Having a schedule is huge for us.
Mm-hmm.
We make sure we get up every morning. We get up in the morning. We make sure at 6:30 the alarm goes off. We have to go down to the bus stop. And having a structure like that it makes things a lot easier for him.
Did he struggle during COVID, like when there wasn't really much schedule for anybody? Did he struggle, or what were there things that his teachers were able to do to help him?
One of the things is that, especially with the teacher that he had, was that she made sure they were not on camera the whole day.
Okay.
So they would do like 20 to 35 minutes, and then they'd get like a 10-15 minute break.
Okay.
And have them back, mainly because she was of the mind she didn't like the kids, sitting and looking at a computer screen.
Sure.
So, and she knew, being at home, it was going to be even harder for that.
Mm-hmm.
So what he would do is, he did have his Chromebook, which is what he used for, his Zoom and everything like that, Google Classroom. But he would set timers on his tablet.
Okay.
So he set alarms on his tablet so that he knew he had to get back online at 12:35.
So really that structured time really helps Patrick to know, okay, I do this now, then I do this, then I do this, and having that schedule. Do you have it written down at home, or is it something that you guys just do innately?
Unfortunately, we just kind of, right now, we know it by now.
Sure.
Especially now because I'm in school. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 to 9:30, he knows that I am downstairs and I am on my calls.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to kind of not necessarily fend for himself, but he's got to, he knows where stuff is in the freezer so that he can put it in the microwave. There's something on the bag that says microwave it for, however long it needs to be done.
And he's good at doing that. Like he can look at the amount of time that it takes to do something and set the microwave and do all of that.
Usually.
Good.
Usually, as long as it's written on there, or as long as he's done it before. Yes, he knows.
Perfect. That's great. Other things that have helped him in school.
Definitely having things read to him as opposed to read it. So when they're having a test and the teacher says, okay, this is what you're going to do for the test. You have to, whether it be read the test over and then go back and, find out what you want. But having instructions, like having him hear the instructions as opposed to reading them on the board.
Mm-hmm.
He has had aides with him in class, not necessarily assigned to him, but there are, 1 to 2 aides in the class that definitely help him. But right now, when he has his testing and stuff, he does it independently.
That's great.
There are times, obviously, when he has, depending on the subject, he'll have an issue with it, and he doesn't necessarily test that well, but because they're able to do everything on the Chromebook now, it's a little bit easier for him, which is what, the last 2 years have been.
Sure.
and he's been consistently getting, like 7 to 8 out of 10.
Good.
He's consistently getting, and he gets, with depending on the subject, science, he always gets 100. Reading, he's getting a little bit higher scores. Social studies last year was hard because he didn't understand it. It was, Mesopotamia and, ancient, which he doesn't really, I mean, he got it, but he didn't really, he had a hard time with it.
Mhm.
But having things, auditory, he tends to learn more than just reading.
Mhm.
Having things step by step, like an order of what you need to do.
Yep.
And he has, one of the things that he has in math is he has a number line that they've given him that he's still, he's not really doing adding and subtracting a whole lot now. Now it's more, multiplying and stuff like that. But just even seeing that, 5 times 1 equals 5, 5 times
Sure.
2 equals, just seeing that and having things to touch. As far as, I don't know if you want me to get into like his therapies or is it just learning?
Yeah, we're just gonna do academics.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, totally fine. Anything else do you feel that's important for Patrick's teachers to know?
I think they've learned this by now. Patrick, one of the
Well,
drawbacks.
let me put it this way. If Patrick was going to a new school, what
Patrick's
would you
going,
make sure his teachers know?
the first thing that I would want is teachers to know is that to just be patient with him.
Okay.
It sometimes, well, most of the time, if you tell him what to do or you ask him a question, it's going to take him an extra few seconds
Okay.
to process the question and then come up with his answer and then say it.
Gotcha.
If you ask me what's 2 times 2, I know the answer is 4. 48 years old, I know the answer is 4.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick has to think in his head, okay, 2 times 2. All right, that's what the answer is. And then he says it. But he's so worried he's going to get it wrong that it takes him an extra second.
Okay.
It takes just to be patient with him. He's not avoiding the question. He's trying to figure out the right way to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to see if he understands the question.
Okay.
That, hearing things is definitely better than just seeing them on the board and just seeing instructions, open your book to page 34, read this page, and then write something. Having somebody say, okay, so this is what we're going to do. I need you to open this book. I need you to go to page 34. And these are the questions I need you to answer. Because sometimes just hearing it just kind of reinforces everything for him.
Yep. Great.
So those would be the most important things.
That's perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much for answering my questions. I appreciate it. And hopefully my students will as well.